Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. We definitely appreciate you for coming through today again. And if it's your first time, thank you for coming
Appreciate you.
through.
Love you.
So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Matt. I'm here with my co-host.
My name is Rod, and this is the Friends Podcast. Check us out on Instagram at the Friends Pod. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. So check us out.
Yeah, man, check us out. If you're on Spotify, if you're on, Apple Podcasts, if you're on whatever website that you're listening to us on, leave us a rating, man. Let us know, give us 5 stars so we can, what I'm saying, run those shits up. Definitely follow us on the Instagram, like Rod said, all that cool shit. So let's get into it how we always do. So how was your week this week?
My week this week was amazing. Had a lot going on with work. Was in a lot of communication with some special guests that we're going to have coming up. You guys are going to be excited for these people. Some amazing creatives and talent. So I can't wait for you guys to get to see who they are. What about you?
Everything was good with me this week, man. I've been sleeping crazy. Like I can only sleep like 3 hours at a time, like lately. So I got to figure out what the fuck going on with that. But other than that, I just got a new bass guitar. So practicing that is my first time playing a 5 string. So just trying to get acclimated to that shit. And that's pretty much it with me.
Dope.
Yeah, just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Same old shit. So without further ado, I guess we can get into our first topic. You want to go ahead and intro?
Yeah, for sure. So we got some special topics for you. Let's start this off with some recent news that just happened. It's unfortunate for a local artist out in the New York area, Lil Tjay. Lil Tjay was shot in Edgewater, New Jersey. It's like the suburb, so it's crazy to hear about that. To get shot in a nice neighborhood, but they did find the guy. The guy was shot at by Lil Tjay's friends that were with him. But the terrible thing that I think is a little bit weird, the friends that try to protect Lil Tjay and were shooting at the guy they're selling, they were actually charged for those weapons as well. But they say Lil Tjay's doing well from what I've heard so far. He's got a surgery. He's on the road to recovery. At least I hope so for him and his family. I pray for them. And I do hope they charge and get this guy off the streets who was just trying to steal from him and take his jewelry. Is what I believe. At least that's as much as what I heard. I don't know. Have you heard anything else about it?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I heard they was trying to get his chain. So they walked up to him, or he or they walked up and it was like, "Yo, let me get that chain. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me get that." And I guess he wasn't trying to give it up. So from
Yeah,
there,
that's
that's
why I
what.
be kind of saying like jewelry ain't worth your life.
Hell no.
Sometimes you just gotta give the jewelry and then let the police do their thing. Or hopefully, like you artists are getting insurance. So if things get stolen or things like that happen, you can get some of your money back, if not all of it. So I mean,
See,
hopefully your shit ain't on like lease and you still making payments and all that kind of stuff. But
if
who
you're still
knows?
making payments on it, you don't need it. Like
Yeah,
shit
but
like that. If they had a good financial advisor, they would tell them not to buy no chains. And I don't want to speak on Lil Tjay in a negative way, but
I
how?
mean, I'm just speculating. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but
I mean,
I'm
to
just saying
be
because he's local.
no, I'm saying like, if you have a good financial advisor, they'll tell you not to spend money on chains unless you have a certain amount of money. You know what I mean? And I don't think Lil Tjay really, banded up that much where he could where he probably should have, a big rapper chain. Like not really a lot of rappers, like I feel like 85% of rappers don't need a chain.
It's
They should spend their
expensive
shit
in New
on.
York, so that probably tells you why he in New Jersey.
Yeah, probably so. So um yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's just a fucked up situation and we keep seeing it. We just seen it like a week ago. We seen it a week before that. Like it just keeps happening where, rappers get shot. But the thing is, what I'm saying, a wise man once said, niggas get shot every day, you know. So it's like I say that to say that there's just a lot of violence that goes on regardless, and I feel like, it's something has to give to.
Stop the drills. Please stop the drills, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be safe. Like, make sure that you have proper security if you rolling around with all that type of jewelry on, because you look like a lick. Not everybody know who you are. And it doesn't even matter who you are a lot of times. If you're just rolling around and you're doing more well off, there's always going to be a hater that wants to come up and take what you got. They want your place, they want your spot, and you just look like a lick. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, that guy looked at Lil Tjay as a lick.
yeah, that's what it is. And niggas hurting. It's inflation happening right now. Niggas hurting. Niggas been hurting like for decades, but like niggas is definitely hurting right now at this point in time after the pandemic, after prices going up on shit, gas up, you know what I'm saying, groceries up. So it's like you're just gonna walk around looking like that, like.
Yeah, people
But I don't
got
want to blame
families.
him. I don't want to blame him though. You can't really, what I'm saying. I guess if that's what he wanted to buy and that's what he wanted to rock that day, that's fine.
Yeah, it's his
Right,
money.
right, of course. But like at the same time, like
If
you
you
gotta
got, the
move
only thing
smart.
I said, if you do that, just move smart.
Yeah,
Don't get your friends caught up, and if you rolling around with half a mil in your neck or whatever, at least have some security guard, a few hundred.
mm-hmm.
Like that's proper insurance for you, your life, your friends, not getting them all jammed up. And I mean, that's just the life of someone who has that level of fame, I guess. So you
What,
never
what,
know.
so what you think is gonna take for it to stop like this type of, I guess like violence towards
It's never gonna
invisible
stop
people? Why not? Why you feel that way?
because there's always someone doing worse off than that person. So there's always gonna be someone who wants what they got. So it's never gonna stop, and you just gotta move smart. Like we've seen this before. We've
Many
seen people
times.
get shot by some person that pretty much looks like a fucking hobo. Really, that's what he looked like. He looked bad, like down and out.
Mm-hmm.
And people be even at these gas stations, you hear a lot of these stories about cars getting taken.
Yeah.
And these kids are just rolling up to these gas stations and stealing people whips. They got the freaking hand device that
Yeah, the
unlock
Kia
your
boys.
door.
They got the Kia boys now and the Hyundai boys. They could just put the you seen that shit where they put the charger in the keyhole? Like they
They
put
got
the
the
iPhone charger in there. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy what niggas can do these days.
these all these cars is like got these a lot of technology in it. And if you smart enough or you run into the right one,
Mm-hmm.
they about to ride off in your shit. You about to be looking real sick.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so you said that it's not gonna stop because there's always gonna be somebody doing worse. So what if everybody wasn't doing worse? What if everybody could get to the point where, what I'm saying, that everybody's stable? You feel like shit will still happen?
Fucking liberal.
What?
You want everybody to have the same amount of money?
I'm not talking socialism shit. I'm just asking a question.
Fucking liberal.
I'm just asking a question.
Everybody, it'll never be that way. Everybody won't have the same amount of money.
So it's always gonna
It's
happen.
just
So why it don't happen in? I'm sure it don't happen to this degree in other countries though. I don't have the data on that, but why is it
crime and
here
theft doesn't happen.
to the
Crime
same
and
degree?
theft happens a lot
To the
across the
same degree?
world.
I wish I
Yes,
had the
or even
numbers.
worse.
Okay, we're gonna have to see the numbers on that because I feel like
Go to India wearing all that shit. You're gonna have them little jack boy kids come on and riding up on you.
how do you know that?
I know facts.
You ain't been to India, nigga. Talk about go to India.
Go to India.
Also, it's like 1 billion people in India, so it's a little different.
You saw the Slumdog Millionaire?
No, I've never seen that. In this one movie, you can't talk about they do that over there based on one movie.
It's wild out there.
That's why everybody think America like Boys in the Hood and fucking Friday and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Slumdog Millionaire look way worse than that.
I mean,
All
the
them kids
slums is
had
the
no.
slums.
They had no socks. They had no
Yeah,
shoes.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
hot. They was all sweating. They had no food.
yeah,
You saw their ribs. It was looking real
yeah.
bad for
Ribs touching, crazy.
them.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality. Like the slums. That's what people be saying that all the time. Like they be like, "Oh, American hoods ain't nothing compared to the slums in Africa and Central America and all that shit." I believe 'em, but I never been, so I can't call it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean they got programs here at least. You got Section 8, they got food stamps. They
Yeah,
try to curtail that stuff, but in different country, all that shit ain't set up within their government. So
yeah,
if you
yep.
ain't doing well, you got to get out there and you got to work.
So get it out the mud, for
Sell
real.
them fruit, sell some apples, walk around with waters. You got to get it how you get it.
I just still
Hustle.
want. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Nah, I'm just
Oh, you
saying you
said
got to
hustle.
hustle.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I just still want to get to the bottom of that. Like, maybe okay, maybe it don't got to be no socialist shit, but like something can. I feel like something can happen. Something could be a catalyst to people not doing as bad as they doing. Like, other than, I mean, I guess is that what people here should do? Just hustle legally
There's a lot
versus
of lazy
robbing.
people as well.
You think so?
Not everybody want to work.
Yeah, yeah. I think that could be true.
That's
That could be
definitely
true.
true. That's a fact. There's a lot of people out here that don't want to work or do anything, and they want to live off of somebody else.
How does that happen though? How does that happen though?
What do you mean? How does that happen?
Why are people lazy? Let's try to get to the bottom of it. Like, what's the real like?
That's
Why?
human nature.
It's
That's
not human nature. You feel like you lazy?
or
Are you
animal.
human?
That's this. I mean, when you got to think of humans as animals.
Yeah. So
Not
would you?
if you don't do what you're supposed to do to try to protect yourself or create a hut or try to create shelter. If you don't prepare properly for the winter, you're gonna die. Like if you're an animal,
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
same thing with humans. If
Mm,
you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's not gonna be good for you. And then what you're gonna do? You're gonna turn into a savage, and you're gonna try to eat or kill the next man to try to get what you want.
yeah. I actually do kind of look at it like that. I feel like people don't really think of us as animals, but technically we kind of we. I mean, yeah, we advanced, but like, yeah, we do have some of the same characteristics that that animal instinct is at some points.
I remember some book that I had like in read in middle school about it was a plane crash in the mountains, and it was like this crew they crashed into. It's a very popular book. If maybe if you guys heard of it, you can put it in the comments,
Fahrenheit
whatever.
451.
Maybe that was it, but literally they crashed and they were sitting out freezing to death at the top of the mountains, and they literally had to start eating on each other. They had to start cutting the skin off of other people to try to survive.
Damn. No, but that's what it is. Survival of the fittest. That's also one of them, animal instincts. Like, you got to get it how you live for real, and that's what they had to do. Now, I don't know about eating on human flesh, but like, if I was in that situation, I mean, it would cross my mind. I try to eat some sand or something or some dirt before that, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just like I said, it's something. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess violence is always going to be there. People always going to be hurting, but I feel like it don't got to be that way. That's just my opinion, though. I guess we can move into this next topic.
Yeah, shit happens.
Shit do be happening. Um, let's see what's the next topic. So, I guess something that we want to talk about is, and we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but like kind of just celebrity worship in general. And then I know that we kind of spoke about a story like offline where,
The article reads: Academic exposes Doja Cat DMs, calling him a low life piece of shit. Um, so apparently, after Doja Cat was outed for pursuing racist chat rooms and writing a song called "Didn't Do Nothing," man, that's
hmm
wild. The media
yeah,
personality covered it like any other outlet, but behind the scenes, academics was receiving the bad end of the stick from Doja Cat's frustrations. And she was like, man, this is why I don't like you. The problem is you exploit people, you exploit people's depression, you exploit people's mistakes, and you try to bring attention to things that don't need attention. And that
hmm
makes you a sick person. And she called him a piece of shit.
yeah,
So I guess the way that this relates to celebrity worship, an example of it, is people who look at these, like people like celebrities like Doja Cat, as someone who can't make mistakes. And they're worshiping these celebrities. Um, they
Mm.
bringing up things from their past, and, and it's like, do you still want to fall back on some things they might have did when they was a teenager and they're adult now? Are they not people like everyone else?
Yeah, I kind of see where you're going with it. I mean, it does seem like that kind of blew over pretty quickly. I mean, I know people probably still reference it, like people that just don't like Doja Cat because they don't like her. Like they reference those, the racist chat rooms and the song and shit. But
So
for
you
the most
believe
part,
what
she
she
popping.
said? So what you believe is it doesn't matter what she said when she was younger,
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like people do reference that still. I'm sure, but at the
and
end
they
of the
don't
day,
have any right to. What you saying?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they do. I'm saying they do, but I'm saying that
So it don't matter what she said.
obviously, no, obviously it don't to some people because she's still popping. She's up. Like people still listen to her music.
She was already up when they brung it up, though.
She, I think she was. I can't remember exactly what point in time it was, but I feel like she's doing better than ever right now. To be honest, like she has something on the charts right now. Like
I
I
mean,
think
this wasn't was specifically just point out Doja Cat, by the way.
yeah.
But Doja Cat is an example of people feel like celebrities can't make mistakes, and they do tend to worship these celebrities.
So I mean, go a little bit deeper into that. So like, what makes you so you feel like people worship her? Like you feel like why do you say like people worship celebrities?
Okay, the get it off with Doja Cat because that's not what I'm really trying to get into. It's just an example.
Hmm.
A lot of times I feel like people listen to what rappers have to say about important media, like in terms of like black issues or important issues amongst the black community. People will listen to rappers, or they'd be like, "Oh, this is what you should be doing." Um, like fuck a 9 to 5, or like things like that's the shit that just rappers love to say. Like, "Oh, you don't gotta do a blah blah blah," because I did it this way, or like it's just a bunch of stuff that rappers tend to put out in the atmosphere that these young kids are just soaking up.
Right, and then somebody else could say it, like their family member could say it. They're not gonna listen to their family member, but they'll listen to the celebrity that says the same thing. Or the celebrity will say some shit that's fucked up that they don't need to be listening to, but they will listen to it. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we spoke previously about even ASAP Rocky, who said his comments about black and white people and lives like that, and like I don't really. He was like, "Oh, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit like that," blah blah blah. He was another person who kind of just put out comments. Um, man, there's so many instances of things that happened in that case
hmm,
where people listen to whatever's popping, who's ever on the radios, who's getting all these likes on the gram. Those are typically the point of views that people listen to. People don't listen to the doctors. They don't listen to the engineers. They don't listen to the educated people or the lawyers or people, the historians who have facts about the matter
hmm,
and about how the mind works and everything like that. It's like sometimes these rappers be just going off the deep end and just be saying their own thoughts. They don't even believe like they don't know the power from what they're saying.
right, right, yeah,
Like even the shit with Future when it was like the DS2 time and he was saying all these drugs and lean and things like that. It's like these kids and everything are there impressionable, so it matters what you say.
yeah, for sure.
And that's what I mean by like celebs are just worshipped. It's like, why is that your role model instead of someone in your family or your household or someone who's trying to make a change maybe in your community? Why is that not your role model? It's always these celebrities who talking about effing all these women, getting all this freaking money just to blow it on jewelry. And it's like, why isn't it about like stocks or accounting, getting your shit together? Why aren't they listening up? Why aren't those people highlighting amongst our community?
Because
Well,
it's not cool. It's
so
not
it's just,
viewed as cool.
yeah, it's the celebrity worship, and it's just very backwards. It's like you can look at these people as entertainment, and it's good when they do give back to the community and everything. But you got to understand that these people are like anyone else. They just have opinions, and then just like an asshole, everyone got one. So
Yep.
that's just, you got to keep it at that. It's, you got to have like the educated people talk about the educated topics, and read into it yourself. It's not just about listening to what the educated person says. It's like listening to what they say, doing your own research, and then coming up with an opinion that's educational or makes sense to whatever it is, whatever the topic may be.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you feel like you ever suffered from this? Like, do you feel like you ever like took something that a celebrity said and like, oh, I'm gonna do that because they said it, or like I'm influenced by this person so much that I'm gonna do this? Like, do you feel like you ever did that?
Absolutely.
So,
I can't say that I haven't at some point. Um, it's just that hip hop and whatever's popping is very, like, what they get paid to influence, and
yeah,
they do
pretty
a
much.
very good job at it.
Yeah.
And the people that are behind them, the team, they want people to live their lyrics. Like that's why even like I heard this recent story like at a Sada Baby concert. He saw some young girls that were twerking at his concert. He literally stopped the show. It's like, man, y'all gotta stop doing that. Like y'all trying to act grown. And I like, and I was just like, I would really respect that. A lot of
That's real
artists
nigga shit.
would never do that shit,
Hell
even
yeah.
though their music is how it is. But it's still, he was like, man, if your nieces and everything was doing that shit, you wouldn't like it, like twerking and doing all, like just acting grown.
Yeah.
Like let a child be a child as long as they can be.
Yeah. Shout out to Sada Baby for that. That's yeah. That's some real stand up nigga shit. Like, we gotta protect, like, especially as adults and adult men. I feel like, we gotta protect, the youngins. Like, we gotta teach them right from wrong. And then sometimes these celebrities don't be leading people in the right ways. And sometimes the crazy thing is the celebrities is the kids sometimes though. So it's like,
Sexualizing these kids is nasty, and that's when they seeing with all these like Meg The Stallions and Cardi B and City Girls, all these women that are very popular, and that's who these young girls want to be. They're highly sexualized. So it's
here
like,
you go.
yeah, it's like, how can you blame them? Like, where's the role model?
I mean, I don't know.
I guess it's the mom at home who's also twerking in front of the babies. Like I saw like a little baby's baby mama. She was twerking, and I'm glad her son walked in front of the camera. It was like just started smiling because it's just nasty behavior.
That's not what's up.
Like I
It's
don't
certain
want to.
things.
I don't want to tell a woman what to do with their body because like if you do, you're canceled. They say all this blah blah blah. You this, you that. You misogynistic. You a male. You shouldn't tell me what to do. Blah blah blah. But it's like, are we just like always trying to bounce off the wall with like these ideas that being a good woman or a good role model is such a bad thing? It's like you can't say one thing and then the next thing is just like, oh my god, like why is this woman being a pick me? It's just
Hmm.
like they always say the one that want that they always say the pick me. Like that's a common term I've been seeing on social media. Like when women stick up for like having good morals and standards, they be, oh, she's a pick me, and you just be like, no, she's just being realistic into society and looking at it like not only from a city girl point of view.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is, women could do whatever they want. Live their lives however they want to live it. But I guess when the only place where I feel you is like, okay, yeah, like when it comes to what you teaching the kids, like twerking in front of the
Everything I said
kids,
is about the
sexual.
kids,
That's the thing. Like, that's different.
and every popular female musician today is very sexualized. They wearing the tightest fashion over they can find. They wearing bodysuits.
Yeah,
They
but
wearing
like you
all
said, they
this
mama
makeup
wearing
and
that.
they getting rich from that, like being highly sexualized. It's like, can you blame them?
But this the thing
OnlyFans is
though.
at an all time high.
This the thing though. Like at some point, these artists was regular. You know what I'm saying? Regular women and regular girls. You know what I'm saying? Adult women too. So like, they was probably doing that same thing because that's just what some women. That's how some women rock. You know what I mean? So like, where's that? Like, how does that measure up then? Because you talking about like, oh, the celebrities, but it like it could be shorty from down the street that just do that just because that's who she is. You know what I mean? So like, how does
Does
that?
that make it right?
No, it don't make it right. But I'm just saying, don't put
If
all
a
the
guy down the street was a pedophile and that's just who he is, does that make that right?
no. I said no, but I'm just saying that don't try
Okay,
to
then
put
it's like
don't put all the blame on celebrities when it's just regular women out here that act in the way that you say that they act. You know what I mean? And there's regular men out here that's just doing some nut shit too. That just that's how they do. Not all rappers ain't the only ones doing drills. It's regular niggas out here doing drills every day. You know what I mean? We don't know
shit.
who shot Lil
Even
TJ.
women doing drills. Ladies are
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
drills too.
yeah.
Don't get it
So
confused.
yeah, for sure. So it's like, yeah, you can put the onus on, you know what I'm saying, the celebrities and the rappers and the singers and all that, but there's also people in
I'm
these
just saying that's what's
communities.
highlighted.
It is what's highlighted, but this is
There's definitely like celebrities who are not promoting that,
for sure.
but typically those type of people, they're always you always get these young kids who go on the internet and put on their page. Yeah, that shit so fucking boring. I do not want to hear what the fuck they got going on. No, like they teach something that's trying to like they be like they feel preached to. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You even like I looked at something recently with these young athletes. They'd be like, oh, it was a comparison of Future and Kendrick, and many of them was like Future. They was like, I just don't feel like I want to hear a man preach to me or like or like just like they don't want to hear like shit that actually empowers people. Like that's
I
not what the
mean,
shit they want to hear.
we talked about that on the pod already, and like I said, it just people sometimes people just not able to or ready to receive certain messages because they don't have that type of maturity to receive it. And I don't want to say that
Now,
like, oh,
do you think that's
Kendrick
a
make.
parents thing? Like the parents aren't making their kids get educated about what's important. They're letting the social media raise their kids.
I feel like that could be part of it, but I feel like it's more of an age maturity thing. Like being honest, how mature was you for real at when you was in high? Like you know what I'm saying? Like people not really that. We're not even fully developed. You know what I'm saying? Mental wise at 18. So it's like, okay, am I going to listen to some shit that I got to break down and listen to multiple times to get it, or I'm just going to listen to something that's going to sound good and I can play football and you know what I'm saying, like rock out in the locker room with the team too. You know what I mean? Like it's
It's a
what you.
difference between Soldier Boy like and dance music.
Uh huh.
Um, you crank that Soldier Boy to I'm about to smoke on your friend pack. Like
Big
after I take
yeah,
his life.
big difference.
And that I feel like the parents got to step in that case. It, like I feel like
Um,
you got to get introduced in some fashion or take actually like accountability for your child and what they're doing. If you're letting
yeah.
social media and stuff raise them instead of being a part of their life and making and like kind of monitoring what they're doing, because it's like what you're saying about these kids is like, oh, just because they're a kid and they just do this and that's just the age thing. If they're doing the things that they're not supposed to be doing, that means they should be monitored. You should be taking a more of a role if you see them kind of portraying the behavior of things that are just, to be honest, they're just dumb. You should like step in and be like, hey, wait a minute here. Like I think maybe we need to step back from some of these artists and some of the music you listen to. Like we need to maybe get you in some clubs or like maybe you just need to take some time off this social media and like get
Play some chess
outside,
or something.
like go play some sports and like maybe just step back a second because young kids' minds are very influential.
Impressionable.
Yeah, impressionable. So
But I feel like kids gonna
that
do what
takes a
they want to
parent
do.
part.
Kids, I do think that I don't know. I don't
It
have
does.
kids.
It's the thing about being influenced. It's like if you were never shown what the right thing to do,
Uh huh.
how would you know?
Right.
But it's a
Exactly.
difference between if you were shown the right thing to do and you listen to some shit that ain't the right thing to do, then at least you have those two things to compare when you're young.
I do. Yeah, I think you have a good point there. But I also think that no matter how much some kids, no matter how much people tell them the right thing, the right thing, the right thing, they gonna do what the fuck they want to do because they don't want to fit in with their parents. They want to fit in with the kids that's around them. So unless all parents is gonna be on the program on the same program, then it just gonna is what it, people just gonna kids gonna do what they want to do. Period.
All
That's
right,
just how I
so
feel about it.
humans gonna be humans. Humans are animals. There's
Humans,
always
humans
gonna
matter.
be there's always gonna be the bad bunch and there's always gonna be the good bunch.
Yeah,
There's smart
yeah,
people and dumb people. Not everyone's
yeah.
smart. They always try to point out like, oh, everyone's smart at something. This is the most
I
inclusive
agree.
generation I've ever seen.
You don't agree with that?
This is the most I'm just saying this is the most inclusive generation. It's like they don't want to say negative things about anyone. No one can just be a bad person in society. Like they always try like there always gotta be something good that's within of some person. They'll find the most foul dude that's killed a bunch of people. But if
Hmm.
you went to that community center or church, they'd be like, oh man, like he gave back every Sunday.
But
Like,
that's interesting though. I feel like that's interesting because what if he did give back every Sunday? Then they would look at it. Hit their perception of him would be, oh, he good. They might not even know that he just killed 15 people. You know what I mean?
even if they did, they knew El Chapo was killing.
Oh, for
And they
sure.
knew Pablo was out there doing work. And then he was still like within the
Hmm.
community, giving
Yeah.
money, food, resources.
See,
And they
that's the
knew
key
he
right
was a
there.
killer.
That's the key though. He was
But it's
giving
all
back. He gave
right
back.
then.
So
All
yeah,
right,
that's
let's
a
go ahead
whole.
and move on to the next topic. What's the next one?
Let's see what we got next. What we got next, man. I guess we can talk about a discussion. So we sometimes we have topics where we just kind of talk about current events and shit like that, and then sometimes we just want to have a discussion on just different things that we come up with, something that may be interesting, might pique you guys' interest, definitely piques ours. So I guess we can kind of talk about exposure of personal information. So like a lot of people get on these podcasts or they have different platforms where like they kind of give their all. You kind of know everything about their life. About like if it's a girl, like who her husband is, who her kids is. They live in
They're gonna
Palo
find
Alto.
it.
Yeah, if they don't know, they will know. You know what I mean? They where they live at. What they do every day, what they eat for
Hit
breakfast.
that docs on them.
Yeah, definitely could dox them. So I don't know. I guess I want to hear your thoughts on like what's your thoughts on like
Man, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
on
What do you think
on
about
like
it?
exposing personal information about yourself like on this platform or just on any platform. Like, how do you feel about? I'm gonna let you go first. How do you feel about that for yourself?
I mean, personally, I don't believe I like tell my entire life on, on social media. It's like I really don't really post on personal pages like that. Um, and I feel like it changed depending on my age.
Okay.
So I did post a lot more when I was younger, but I feel like the older I get, the less I post.
Okay.
And now that I'm older, I feel like I don't post as much, but that doesn't mean I'm not on social media at the same time. It's just I'm not posting so much of my moves and what I'm doing as much anymore. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just like I don't know. It just seems like a little bit. I don't know if it's immature, but I guess it just depends. It really depends because I don't want to like portray social media as not as a good thing because there's a lot of positive from social media and getting your information out there. Like in terms of this podcast, I'm definitely on the podcast page a whole lot more, trying to engage in different pages and
Hmm.
talking with a lot of people, or just in Instagram lives or Facebook lives, whatever. I'm just in the room, kind of just communicating that way. Um, so there's exactly. I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but I know that ain't
Yeah.
really an answer. But what do you
Nah,
think?
I think that's a good start to it. I mean, to me, like for me personally, I don't see the point in it because I look at it like this, right? Like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like that's how I give it. That's how I kind of look at it because it's like I could tell motherfuckers all day like what happened with my day. Oh, I had a bad day. Or I had a good day. Oh, today you know what I'm saying? I could say that all day, but at the end of the day, who really gives a fuck? You know. So that's why I feel like for some people, if you want to do that, that's fine. But for me, I feel like what I want to do and what I, strive to do is just stay out the motherfucking way. Like that's how I look at it. Um and so for me, but of course like if we have topics on here, we got to talk about things and we talk about some more deeper topics, personal shit. Of course I would, but like just offering up that information is just not that's just not how I rock. And that's in real life too. Like I don't if I go to work, I'm not telling people about my personal bit. Like I'm not telling people about my family. I'm not telling people about, oh, this is what I did, this my whole weekend, like this was exactly what I did. Like it's just no point because I really don't care when people tell me, so I'm not gonna tell them if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like
Let's kind
that's
of
kind
go. Let's rewind gears a bit.
okay.
So I feel like this kind of relates into the celebrity worship
Okay, yeah, it
and
could.
how kids and everything are very impressionable. And I remember you just asking me the question where you never got the impression from a celebrity to do anything that they did.
Hmm.
I guess that's the question.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Because that's 'cause when I asked you, I had people in mind that I looked up to, quote unquote. Like I remember, I mean, Wiz Khalifa. Definitely. I was not smoking weed when I first listened to Wiz, and I started smoking Wiz, and that was one of my inspirations. Or even just the clothes, like one of my favorite brands is Stussy, and I remember I used to listen to Dom Kennedy a lot way back in the day, and he said something about Stussy, and I'm like, damn, let me go check that out, and I started fucking with Stussy. So it's like in that aspect, yeah, but in terms of like how I live my life, eh, not necessarily.
You don't think doing drugs is a way that you live in your life?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it like that. Yeah, yeah. Or is weed a drug though? That's a whole different conversation. But um,
Does it
yeah,
change
that
your habits or your mental state?
most definitely.
I think it's a drug then.
You know damn well you don't think. I feel like you. I don't know. I feel like we had this conversation. I didn't think that you consider weed a drug. Like it's a substance, but is it a
Yeah.
drug?
I think drugs, alcohol, pills, anything you injecting, snorting, taking out the butthole, those are all things that like get you off your square. And it's a drug. It's and the idea I think of it all saying like, yeah, that shit a drug. It's changing your mental state.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
But it's like,
Yeah.
do you know what you're taking?
Right.
Yeah, I know what it's gonna do.
Right.
Like that's why I'm doing it. Like I know,
Exactly.
like I 100% like I know, I get it. So yeah, I mean that's how I view it. Like I know that it does something to my mental state. Like I don't, I'm not saying oh it's like some type of a plant or something like herbal. It's like
Hmm.
it's not affecting me in any way. I'm just a god. That's just who I am. Like that's just I'm gonna smoke all this shit. And I'm gonna just be me.
Yeah, I feel like
Like
niggas
it's
that
just that
niggas
just
that
like
say
that
that
makes no
shit.
sense.
Yeah, I feel like niggas that say that shit just be trying to justify like it not being as dangerous as other shit. They be like, it just comes from the earth. It's natural. It's not a drug. So I think that's where that comes from. Cause that's kind of how I think about it. Like if I don't see it as a drug because
Me
I
people be smoking cigarettes 24 fucking 7. Like if everybody at
nicotine.
my job,
Yep.
like you're just trying to get some type of buzz, a little
Hmm.
little bit.
Caffeine is a
What?
drug.
Yep.
Motherfucker
So
drink 7 cups of coffee every day. Like,
you
so it's
just like
like,
that rush.
yeah, yeah. So, but I guess back to the topic. So personal information, like, do you ever think we'll get to a point where it's just like we on here just telling stories, or we just on here like really going into like some therapy like I feel like it would be dope to have like a therapist come on and like do some shit like that. Like, you think we'll ever get to that point on the pod?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I view this as kind of a therapy where I'm able to speak my opinions, and I hope that people are able to hear what I'm saying and gain something from it. So I'm hoping this podcast helps some people out, like make them think a little bit deeper into what their habits may be,
Hmm.
and maybe I'm not telling people not to do this shit because maybe I did the shit, but just at least a thought like going into it. Like I want you to at least be like, do I really want to do this, or maybe do I want to do this shit as much? I'm like everybody got their vices.
For sure.
So like this people out here with fucking million kids, they just they just having sex and shit like repeatedly. It's like that. Even that's it's like oh that's kind of crazy. Everybody want to talk about fucking Nick Cannon or Future, who have like 9 different baby mamas. Nick Cannon may not be doing drugs and all that shit, but he sure is fucking. He got a drug like that. That's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he found
Fe-
something to replace what he was missing.
I think that would be a good conversation too. Like, why do people do drugs? I mean, yeah, to alter their perception and their reality, but like the deeper reason. I don't know. I feel like we had to do some research on that because like, why are people addicted? Why do people have vices? Why do people, you know what I mean? Like, is what I'm saying, having sex really a vice for real, or is that like
No one's
what?
perfect,
No one is perfect. Yeah,
and I think it might just all be kind of just human nature.
yeah, yeah.
It's like we aren't gods. We aren't these all powerful beings who just do everything right. Everyone has
Hmm.
their issues, and everyone has things that are good about them. But
So I
I'm
just
not.
looked up.
Yeah,
I just looked up the definition of vice. It says a moral or wicked behavior. I didn't think that's what it meant. I thought a vice was just something that's pleasurable to you or something like something that just you
you know
fuck
what
with.
that meant?
I never knew it had a negative
What
like
school you went to?
connotation.
They ain't
The
teach
same one
that.
you did, nigga.
They
I
teach you
never
what
knew that.
vice meant. That's
Like, they didn't.
crazy.
They never taught me. That's crazy. I thought I knew what it meant, but yeah, I didn't know it had a negative connotation. But
What you
yeah,
thought it
everybody
meant?
does. I thought it just meant something that's pleasurable, something that you fuck with. Like,
Nah, I
I
knew it
didn't
meant a
know it was.
wicked behavior.
I had no idea. But yeah, like I said, you are right. Everybody has their vices. Some more dangerous than others. But at the end of the day, we ain't got to come on here and be like, oh, yo, let's talk about our vices every day. Because who gives a fuck? Like, because here's another thing. Like, when people get on social media smoking weed, they just sitting in the camera on what I'm saying, on IG.
Everybody do that.
But I'm saying, why though? What's the point?
Cause
Who
that's just
cares
who
that you're
they
smoking
are.
weed?
It's not even they trying to highlight the shit. That's just what they do.
That's just
They
what
just
they
hot.
doing at
They
that.
doing a vlog. Like that's their life.
But
And
that's crazy to me though.
they ain't trying to highlight the shit for real. Be like, oh yeah, it's like do this, kids. It's like this is what I'm doing. Cause this is what I
Yeah.
normally do.
But it's just not interesting. It's like, don't do
Like Wiz
shit.
been
Like,
doing that for fucking years. Getting doing vlogs of him just rolling up. Like man, I gotta roll up this weed. But now he's kind of being like, yeah, I'm working out. So
yeah,
like maybe the
yeah.
kids like hopefully the kids listen to that part of Wiz and not just the rolling up part. Like he's doing all that shit. But he's also working out and doing martial arts.
Hmm. One thing about it, Wiz will smoke some weed for sure.
Yeah, Snoop
So
been doing this shit too.
you know, yeah, I don't know. I just find it weird when people just do that shit sometimes. Like, we
Scott
like
Storch.
it's like you like a lot of people smoke weed. Like, it doesn't make you interesting because you smoke weed too, or it's not cool that you
A lot of
blowing
people
the
do
blunt smoke.
heroin and be hitting needles in them. I don't see the point. Like,
That's true.
like I saw this one dude on a fucking train out here in New York. He literally had
Yeah.
like a needle in the side of his head, like it was like a blunt or something.
Oh, he
He
needed
just
that
had,
shit
he
straight
had
to the
it just
brain.
like,
Oh, you talking about in his ear?
yeah, like just in his ear kind of thing. He had like a, I was just like, yo, that's the
that's
wildest shit I ever seen.
that's
What?
crazy.
I was like, yo, this
Yeah.
dude is wilding.
Nah, New York trains is wild, man. I done seen some shit on there. I only been there 2 times and I done seen some shit. Like, but why? Like, why he felt the need to do that day? Like, but at that point, it's not even like him trying to expose his personal shit or like trying to be cool. He needed that though.
That's just who he is. Like dudes who, if he had a blunt, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just some
sometimes
shit he just do like regularly. It's not he trying to encourage anybody. That's just him.
some people do shit just to look cool though.
Yeah. Like people
So
like all these white kids who be at the party be like, man, you gonna do this bump, dude?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I got a little line here, like, and they try to highlight like, man, put the little $100 bill or whatever, and try to line it up,
Credit
or
card. You know.
or you get like a someone you're interested in, like a fine woman or a fine uh dude or whatever female woman, all listening, blah blah blah, and that they be like, oh, you want to do this? You just gonna do it.
I mean, depend on how you shit. You might not submit to peer pressure that easy, but if you're trying to get on, yeah, you might
I feel
dabble a
like
little bit.
majority of people more majority of kids aren't strong enough to not subject to peer pressure.
I agree.
You get
I
enough
totally agree.
kids who say, give me your face, but do it,
Right, yeah.
you gonna do it.
But that's why I said earlier that it don't matter what the parents say; they gonna try to fit in with the kids.
It
So
does
yeah,
matter if your parent never like spoke to you and be like, hey, these things happen at these parties and things of that nature.
right,
And when they
yeah.
say do this, don't do it, kid. Like, please don't do this. Like, just call me up or just walk away. Like, you don't have to do it. It's like in that case, at least they have something in the back of their mind, like I was told, so it can be like, oh yeah, maybe this ain't something I want. Like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. It's like
Yeah,
I spent the whole time going through fucking high school without drinking or smoking. It's
yep.
not that I never was offered. I just was like, nah.
hmm Yeah, so it's like I want to have a chat with people that like who parents. I always thought the parents that they would be like, "Oh yeah, you can do it. You can drink over here, but just come over here so you can do it in my supervision. Or you can smoke in my supervision." Like, I always thought that was interesting. Like, I want to chat with people like that just to feel like,
I had a
just to be
roommate
like,
like that. The mom
for
would
real.
come over and smoke with us.
See, that's crazy. I can't even imagine no shit like that. But I wonder how those people like. I wonder if it's different. Like if that parenting style works more than just like, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. You know what I mean? Because I'm not no
I mean,
parent,
I feel
but
like it just
one day,
depends. It's like at least your kids used to it. I mean, there's definitely a lot of households where I've been to where they'd be like, "Oh, my parents let me drink some beer when I was younger, like 18 or like high school, 17 years old or whatever. Like they let me do it here so they can kind of get a sense before
hmm
college, so I don't go overboard. So you just know your limits and stuff like that. I've
or
heard
even
plenty
like
of white kids and friends who said that.
yeah, or even like letting girls sleep over like before. What I'm saying? While you was in high school, like that shit was. What I'm saying? I couldn't even imagine doing some shit like that. But
My fan
some
don't even
parents,
let me do that now.
you know what I mean? So it's like
Like
some
they make
parents,
sure, but like if I say, "Oh, I'm bringing somebody over," they be like, "Just so you know,
yeah,
y'all gonna be in different rooms."
yeah, y'all
Like, all
can't
right,
nah.
I'm getting a hotel.
Right.
What?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's
It's a
just
wrap.
interesting. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting just to see, how to raise a kid when I have kids and shit like that. But definitely want to get some different perspectives from people. So guys, let us know like what was your parent like how did your parents parent you?
Your
You know what I
household
mean?
for sure.
Yeah, how was your household and shit like that? And like are we wilding? Are we, what I'm saying, things that we saying is we wilding, is we, what I'm saying some crazy shit?
Everybody grow up different, so we all got different perspectives. So
Mm-hmm.
let us hear yours, the friends for sure. So the next thing we're gonna go into is a game that we usually play. It's love and hate. We're gonna bring out a few signals and pretty much see if you love or hate the song. So let's get into it. So the first song I got here for you, Matt, is Lupe Fiasco. Galveston.
Gal, yeah, Galveston. I liked it. He actually just dropped his album. I got to check that out. I liked it a lot. Well, you know what? I think the thing about him sometimes is like listen to his shit. You can't listen to it one time because I feel like he be trying to say a lot, and it's something that you got to dissect. But the things he was saying was really interesting from just the first listen that I heard. I didn't really like the beat, and I didn't like how he was singing on the chorus. But other than that, I liked I liked the message. So I'm gonna say love.
Okay.
Um,
What was the message?
yeah, it's always just on some like educating people about shit that happened in the past. Like, cause Galveston. I think that was one of the communities where like a Black Wall Street type thing where they tried to tear it down. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Like, kind of similar to a Tulsa. That situation that happened in like the 1920s. So I think that he was shedding light on that. So
Yeah. It said
anytime.
Galveston was one of the 48 known ports of the entry in the U.S. for enslaved Africans who survived in the transatlantic crossing.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So he was just trying to shed light on like some history shit, just trying to teach people shit. Because we don't, when we spoke about this on the podcast before, like
Even
they
this
don't be
one,
teaching the shit.
it's the kids just don't wanna hear that shit. They be like, "Oh, it's boring." Like
Yeah.
they want to hear something else,
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. So,
and that's what these
yeah,
media companies are pushing. They're putting their marketing dollars behind shit that's really negative towards our community. It ain't gonna help us.
yeah,
It's
negative
just
is just.
gonna push more money into jewelry, clothing, cosmetics, and things of that nature. And
Hmm.
that's really what it do,
That's
and that's
pretty
their
much what it
purpose.
is. I mean, I guess it makes sense from a business standpoint. Like, okay, we just gonna make them dumb and not want to give a fuck about shit, so we could just sell them shit and have them stay on the app for 5 hours at a time. Like, I guess it makes sense for them,
Yeah, ain't no
but
popular rappers out here talking about stocks and shit like that.
not for real. I mean, Money Man be talking about the crypto and shit like that. He definitely on
Yeah,
that, the crypto and the scamming. But
he's still local.
yeah, for the most part. But
Ain't for the most part. He local.
yeah. But let's get into the next joint. So tell us if you love or hate "I'm Baby" by Ombre.
This is a new artist I was recently introduced to. Um, can't exactly remember. I think it was on probably like an Instagram reel or something like that that happened in Crossbar, or maybe it was off of someone's page. It might have been John Doe, her, or well, however you say her now. I think someone told me her name was that's how they pronounce it, John
I,
Doe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was like on her page, and I had seen Ombre, and she just released this project, 3,000 Degrees. She's an R&B and soul singer, so if you like that type of music, make sure you go check that out. It's a really good album, and I'm really fucking with it for sure. So yeah, so the next
Okay.
track I got here is Juicy J and Pierre Bourne, This Fronto.
Man, I was so excited when I heard that Juicy J and Pierre was about to drop a album. But then I heard that Juicy J was making the beats and not Pierre. So I was like, damn.
Juicy J
And I
makes great beats though.
He does, but I don't want to hear Pierre on any other beats other than Pierre beats. Like if Pierre's gonna be on music, be on his own beat. Like I like him on his own beats because I feel like he can craft it how he wants to. But of course, yeah, Juicy J a legend with the beats. Like he influential on so many levels in hip hop. But in terms of the song, this Fronto, like I wasn't really feeling it that much. I think this album just dropped uh, recently as well, so I'm gonna check that whole thing out. But in terms of the single, I gotta say hate. It was just kind of boring to me. Like it just didn't really pique my interest that much. So I will leave it at that and move
Mm.
on to the next one. So let's talk about "It Doesn't Matter" by Tory Lanez.
It doesn't matter. Tory Lanez came out with that single recently. He's been really pushing this record,
Hmm.
and it's a good summer feel. It's a good summer bop. It's not too like a lot of Tory Lanez. It's not gonna have like a bunch of lessons or like Galveston, like Lupe Fiasco. It's just a radio song that's typically pushed. And in that case, like a Drake. Like they push him so much, but there's a bunch of artists who make music make music just like that, but they don't really be pushing them. And I think Tory Lane should be one of the top rappers. I guess if he wasn't going through what just recently happened with Meg Thee Stallion, he'd be probably fucking Travis Scott level by now.
Yeah, that
And
slowed him down.
yeah, it slowed him down a bunch. But if he did do the crime, and rightfully so, if he didn't, then Meg Thee Stallion career has to end. Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, so I mean, going back to the worker, anyways. Yeah, man, I think it's a good summer bop. Um, yeah, so shout out to Tory Lanez.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Um, let me see. The next record here is JID 29 Freestyle, and that he's a Dreamville representative.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was pretty good. I like the beat. I felt like, people talk about Jid and they kind of talk about how, a lot of his shit kind of like he be doing like that same real fast flow and he kind of be saying the same thing. And I kind of agree, but I
I
feel
like
like
when he
in
do
this
his
one,
storytelling. That's what I
his
like.
storytelling type shit, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do too. But for this one, I feel like he ain't really. It wasn't really no storytelling type shit. He was just punchline type shit. But I feel like he switched the flow up a little bit, like in the beginning, but then at the end, that's when he went to like his classic JID flow or his standard JID flow. But I liked it though. I wish it was on Spotify so I could download it and bump that shit in the whip. But um, yeah, I will say love just because I'm waiting on new JID and I don't really hate anything that he drops, so I'm gonna go ahead and say love on that one.
I'm definitely waiting on some new JID project, and I know even though he kind of drops these tracks that kind of get the kids hype, it's not something too much into a story mode and him trying to be the best lyricist or the best MC. Uh, like a J Cole that's trying to like tell kids what to do. Like when he came out with this that album,
KOD,
yeah, KOD.
kids on
Yeah,
drugs.
it's not nothing like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say this about JID. I feel like your single that you released before your project should, in a sense, represent your project.
Right? Yeah, I
If
agree.
if if you're getting ready to drop, if I don't even know, maybe you're just gonna be dropping just singles and shit until the end of the year, and maybe just this just like some summer shit that he just trying to get people at the parties, the bump up, like a Rum 151 type shit. So maybe that's what he's going for, but I do want to, like I said, I like the JID stories. I want to hear a single like that. I want to hear you challenging yourself. I want to hear that JID. I want to hear a track that's better um, than your last album
Right.
and your last past albums of your work. I don't want to hear a decline in your progress in your work. I know you. I know he got the track, so that's not even. I'm not even gonna say that he fell off because I don't believe that at all. Um, yeah, because I seen like over COVID. I remember he did some show at like I think it was like Harvard or something, and he had do some tracks and everything. Did like a little show, and he played some tracks that ain't out, and I was like, man, this is some fire right here. But he ain't released those, so I don't know if it's like a label thing or what he's doing or his team, and why they don't want to release those as the singles and these, because he's been working for sure.
Yeah, I would assume so. The thing is, though, I do kind of agree with you, but I will offer some pushback because it's like, yeah, a single is supposed to reflect your album, but it's also supposed to. I mean, the climate of hip hop right now, like some shit like where if he came on a single with storytelling and talking about like I don't know, real shit or just whatever type of shit that you like to hear from Jid, like maybe like a B side,
Like a J Cole record,
yeah, like a deep cut like
but
that,
J
like that
Cole
wouldn't.
records, even though it be deep, they go up now.
They do, but I don't think
I
that
don't
would be
know
in Jid's
why
best
though. Like
interest.
I don't know why it just like all of a sudden just I feel like J Cole was like one of those artists who not many people like paid attention to like that. He was just like I don't know, like a normal rapper who doing well, like he like a big crit or something,
Hmm.
or something around those lines, or like a Big Sean. Like they'll put like a record out, and then like yeah, it'd do cool or whatever, and like you hear what they're saying, but something like happened where like I don't know what record it was that pushed him into that category of like the Drakes and the Kendricks and that level of rap. Like so, I don't know. I guess it's just maybe it was a single or something, but
Yeah, I can't think of which one might have catapulted him up there. Like maybe it wasn't Workout.
I think it had to be that album, Forest Hills.
It was definitely that because everybody be like, "Oh, it's platinum with no features, platinum with no features."
Yeah, it
Um,
had to be that one.
I forgot what was the big single off of that though, but it was probably that single that really catapulted him. Um, but yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and move on. Go ahead with that last one.
So the last one, hold on. No, it's you with the last one.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm tripping. So the last one I wanted to bring up is Keisha by Yaya Bay. You love or hate that one?
I love this song. I love Yaya Bay. Um, she seems like she's from the Brooklyn, New York area, and I recently just bought her vinyl. I'm very excited. It's like this blue vinyl. It looks real dope. That the project is really, really fire. She's also like an R&B soul singer, and I was looking at Pitchfork. They rated that shit like an 8.7 or something like that, or somewhere around there.
Not
And
bad.
it's kind of just talking about what's the right word? Is it plight? Black girl plight?
Possibly. What, like the struggles?
Yeah, the struggles of like
Yeah.
her and like black girl plight. It's kind of like all that wrapped into an album. And
Mm,
yeah, I'm really loving this project. So yeah, Keisha, that single's dope. I really
okay.
like the sample they used, and that beat is fucking fire.
Yeah, and that's Yaya Bay, Yaybey. So yeah, people definitely check that out.
I would
But I
love
guess
to have you on the Friends podcast if you're
yeah,
listening.
if you listen to come on the show for sure. So let's get into these highlights.
Yes, sir. So the highlights. This is the Friends podcast, by the way. So make sure you're following the Instagram. We are streaming everywhere. So that means YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If I didn't already said it before. So check us out. Make sure you do that. So let's get into these highlights, and we'll wrap this on up. So what I want to highlight, I'm sure we talked about a bit earlier on, maybe in one of our past episodes, is with Gerard Carmichael. He was the guy who created the show Gerard. Oh no, it was called The Carmichael Show. He played himself in the series, and they touched on a lot of different topics um, that many like TV series you can't touch on them, and that really is probably why like the network was getting a lot of pushback because these topics were ridiculous, and you just don't see that like on TV. It's like really, I think it's one of the best TV shows of all time, just because
Mm,
what it was able to get across in terms of family, in terms of news. It almost reminds me like a Boondocks in a sense, but actual like primetime TV in real life and not just a cartoon. Like some of the topics he was able to go for was like Boondock status to me.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Um, but yeah, anyways, I mean that's just a bit about Gerard Carmichael. Of course, he was in movies and things of that nature, so check him out. But his recent special, Rothaniel, that special was on. It's on HBO. Just to start that off, it was a great respect special. I know he recently had the comments about asking Dave Chappelle, "Who the fuck are you?" Because you don't normally talk about yourself, and you always act like this boogeyman is into the atmosphere where you talk about society as a whole. So if you imagine he said that, it's he's the type of person who obviously he talks about himself, and he's always been that kind of comedian who deep dives into his own life and his struggles, and makes jokes out of it. But it's not all jokes. It's also like you really do. I feel like you gain something from listening to him. It's almost like therapy, like this podcast. Like you're listening in, and then you're hearing him go through his struggles. Like maybe you might want to have a conversation with your family after you watch it. But he definitely makes light, and he's always hilarious on his shows. So check out Rothaniel HBO, Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah, definitely really good special, really different from what a typical comedy special is. So check that out if y'all get a chance. Today, I want to highlight No Cap, an artist from Mobile, Alabama. So shout out Alabama. Shout out Flo Milli from Mobile as well. Shout out Honeycomb Brazy from
Flo
Mobile as
Millie.
well. But I want to highlight No Cap today. He signed to Never Broke Again Records, which is the one and only NBA YoungBoy shit. So I want to highlight Mr. Crawford is his album, but really the song House Bigger. That's the one that I've been listening to. But it's just good. I don't know, just good music to just ride out to. So check out No Cap's House Bigger. And with that being said, we're about to get up out of here. So thank you so much for listening. We definitely appreciate you guys for coming through.
Love you guys. And
Yeah,
peace out.
we out.